What do you get with Reguilon? Well, initially you get a good technical player. He is good on the ball, he receives the ball well, he uses a low centre of gravity, allowing him to kind of turn on the spot and avoid pressure and kind of play out from the back in that way, in the middle of the park, in the middle third, or even in the final third. When pressed, he's pretty good at protecting the ball. Like I said, he kind of uses that low centre of gravity to get low under players and turn from there. He does that really well. He's a decent passer of the ball. Most Spanish fullbacks seem to be. He's pretty good on the ball from these areas, able to play the ball out from the back. But the problem that I have with him, and this is the big problem more than anything else, is his tactical profile. Actually, technically, he is pretty good. He is a decent protector of the ball. He's a decent passer. What I don't really understand about the signing so much, but we'll come on to this right later on in the stream, so hang about for that. What I don't understand about the signing of Reguilon quite as much is that he just doesn't want to be involved in these areas. Luke Shaw, for example, at United is used in build-up quite a lot. He's one of United's most progressive players. Reguilon doesn't do that. He just buggers off halfway up the pitch half the time. That's what I find a little bit odd. Like I said, he profiles well. He's a good player. But he doesn't suit the rotations of United. He doesn't want to drop into centre mid and rotate in that way. For example, if United were to use a back three in certain situations, he doesn't want to come and play in these areas. He doesn't want to come and play in these areas. He doesn't even really want to play in these areas here, not in sustained possession. He wants to push a lot higher. So he almost doesn't profile right for what United have been looking for. Now, we do have a couple of clips that we can look at, which some of them are going to back it up, some of them are going to kind of counter it a little bit. But let's get them up on screen. So this is from the other season when United played against Sevilla in the Europa League. Good old Europa League. Don't we all miss that? Great competition. Great fun. Look what I'm labelled here, though. So this is in the Manchester United half, as you can see. Paul Pogba at United. Good to see. But anyway, we've got Reguilon in his position here. I can't even remember what he's going to do in this particular clip. We're going to see him carrying the ball forward. That is something that I would say, once he gets in the final third, genuinely good. Like, actually very decent in the final third. His versatility in the attack is really impressive. Sometimes he'll bomb wide on the overlap and put crosses into the box. Other times he will kind of invert slightly, but not in deep areas, but more like this to make underlapping runs. He'll kind of knock the ball out wide and then maybe make another run into the penalty area, as you can see on this occasion. And I don't know if you remember this game. He really troubled Wan-Bissaka. Now, obviously, Wan-Bissaka's pretty decent defensively, but Reguilon had him struggling. We can see his movement into the box in situations like this. He was genuinely a threat. He always wants to get forward into the final third at every opportunity. On this occasion, Victor Lindelof blocked the ball into the box. But what we have here is a player who, again, wants to get forward. He isn't involved in dropping deep and building possession. Here you've got Ocampos, the winger, has come inside a little bit. Reguilon's first thought is, can I get round? Can I get down that line, get forward, support the final third and provide the width? Now, at times that's good, obviously. You need width in the final third, but only if it works with the players around you. Again, this might be unlocked by Amrabat, so we'll come back onto that side of it a little bit later. But in terms of his play in the final third, he is genuinely good in the final third. In fact, I'd got that he is one of the better attacking fullbacks in world football, in my opinion. Here you can see he's obviously just covered a lot of ground at quite a high speed, but he still has that composure to play the ball across the box with a good pass. That particular move doesn't come to anything, but again, Reguilon's done his job pretty well. We've got another clip here, and this is the one which really highlights it for me. Reguilon's actually like here behind me, just big chillin'. Was he behind me on that last one as well, actually? He might have been. But anyway, Reguilon's like, just imagine Reguilon's up here somewhere. What's weird is that he's not here. Because if I quickly highlight him, you would expect your left back often to be more in this position here. You know, this is where Luke Shaw would be in this situation, much deeper. But Reguilon doesn't really have an interest in doing that, and instead he wants to push forward. He wants to get into the final third. This is where he wants his touches. He wants to be high, wide, providing the width. Yeah, once he does get forward, he is pretty technically secure. He is someone which will keep the ball a lot for you. But what we're seeing here is that he's a player which bombs forward. And I'm not sure United fullbacks do that. Not when you've got two midfielders in, typically, when everyone's fit, Mason Mount and Bruno Fernandes both pushing super high, Casemiro pushing high, a left back pushing high as well. Doesn't quite add up. It's a little bit odd. But like I said, this is what he wants to do. He wants to be in the final third. I will say, his crosses are genuinely brilliant. His variety of crossing, his ability to get to the byline and cut a ball back, top quality. Loop, cross towards the far post, whip one in at the near post. Really good. He is really good with his crossing into the box. You can see it on this occasion. His striker wins the header. But he is someone who's always on the front foot. And in these areas, he is good. You can't doubt his quality in that aspect. Again, Reguilon's behind me, just chilling. Ball's going to come forward. He kind of knocks it on, but then he makes a run off the ball. This inverted underlapping run. Gets towards the final third. Is he going to end up behind me the whole move? Not quite. Eventually he gets into the final third with a really good direct run. Again, we can see he's troubled Wan-Bissaka and Fred, dragged them out of position. And then you see the quality of delivery into the box. And Sevilla scored this goal. Of course they did. It's a Spanish club playing against Manchester United. Of course they scored. But you can see that Reguilon likes to push forward. I mean, this is the last clip we're going to look at here. It's a bit repetitive now. This is all in that first half against United, though. He's not interested in dropping deep into these positions and getting on the board and building possession. We can see that's just not what he wants to do. He wants to push high. He wants to get forward. Again, he's going to get on the overlap. He really gets going, zooms down that left-hand side, and 9 times out of 10, his final product is good. Here, he kind of hits a Ronaldo chop sort of thing, cuts back and plays the ball backwards. So he's a good player. I just don't think he's the right profile. As good as he might be, I think what we see a lot, right, is Eriksen, or particularly when it's Mason Mount especially, pushes quite high. We know that Bruno Fernandes does. We know that Casemiro does as well. To have your left back also doing it, it just feels like United might end up with no one in here. And that's obviously a problem because you kind of need players in the middle of the park, both for attacking but also for breaking up opposition transitions. You need to occupy these central areas. I'm not sure Reguilon will do that. Now, Reguilon obviously is the fullback which is signed for the club. We kind of don't have a choice. He's got a really good engine. If we talk about him from a defensive point of view real quick, he wants to defend on the front foot. He's not a passive defender which is going to kind of retreat in here. Can we kidnap Theo Hernandez from AC Milan? I'm personally not going to do it. I can't give legal advice on whether or not you should, but do it. Go kidnap him. Get him at Old Trafford. But yeah, can Reguilon tackle? Is he good from a defensive point of view? He is. He's not bad. He looks to get on the front foot. He wants to press high, win the ball. He's got a good engine. He'll track back. But what I quite like is the intelligence a little bit of, in the final third, he wants to press high and be aggressive and be on the front foot. In the final third, he's aggressive. He's pressing high, trying to win the ball back. In the final third, he's a bit more sensible with how he defends. He's a bit more standoffish. Not to an extent where it's a problem. So I actually quite like that. Reguilon, is that how you say it? I do apologise. Reguilon, that's how you say his name. Apologies for that. Thank you for the correction, Christopher. Do appreciate it. He's a half-decent defender. 1 versus 1, I'm not convinced. I'm not convinced of his 1 versus 1 defending. Although in terms of when he does defend the final third in general, he's not bad at the back post. He's quite short, you know. He's a small player, and I can say that because I'm short, so it's fine. He's not bad at this back post. He has quite a good understanding of how to use his body to try and kind of block players behind him, how to disrupt players. The concern I have, though, right, is let's say Rafael Varane's injured for 6 weeks, for example. Luke Shaw the same, again, for example. Let's look at this back four real quick. If I'm the opposition, not necessarily Arsenal, but maybe another team, if I look at that United back four, I'm just going long ball. Because who's going to win the header there? The best player in the air in that back four is Victor Lindelof. For years, we sat here saying, Lindelof isn't good enough in the air. Maguire's better than him in the air. Lindelof's the problem. This could be a problem. The height of that back four. I wonder if Dalot will come into the team simply because he's a bit better in the air than Wan-Bissaka, so I wonder if we'll see that. What I do find interesting is, how regularly do you think we're going to see Reguilon? Is it going to be every week? Is he going to be backup? Is it going to be like Dalot left back, Reguilon comes in occasionally? I think it should be okay given Ten Hag played Timber and Martinez at centre back and Blind at left back. That's very true. Ten Hag doesn't seem too concerned about playing big defenders, but I just worry for it in the Premier League. Can you imagine Haaland up against this back four? Can you imagine Evan Ferguson up against this back four? Darwin Núñez up against this back four? Even Nketiah is more physical than several of these players. Leaves me a little bit concerned, I just being completely honest.